Hello everyone, I am back after a long hiatus. I am really sorry for that. But let's start. And today's topic is a really good topic. It's kind of an indoor activity that you can do with your child this summer. So basically, we are going to prepare a reading calendar for our children for these summer vacations. Okay, so let's start with understanding what a reading calendar is and how to use it for the summers. Okay, so reading calendar is nothing but a calendar for the month or maybe just a few weeks, how much ever time you have, where we plan out which books our children must read every day. Okay, so this calendar can help children keep up with their literacy skills just by reading stories from the books. You can plan a variety of book genres in this calendar, which will give a taste of each genre to the child. Okay, but again, it would be depending on the age of the child. Now, for younger kids like toddlers and preschoolers, the genres may not be an ideal way to plan, right? So, instead, use different subjects as a way to provide variety to the child. So, for example, science, history, mythology, geography, art, picture books, chapter books, which are fictional, moral stories, etc. etc. Okay, now this calendar can be a great activity for children to look forward to without even realizing that they will be practicing their literacy skills and general knowledge through this reading practice every day. Okay, now you may say we anyways read a couple of books daily with the child, so what's different in preparing this kind of reading calendar, right? Now, when you prepare a reading calendar like the one sample that I have here for toddlers, is that there is something tangible for the child to look forward to and be excited about every single day. Okay, now involve the children from preparing the calendar to making a list of books which they are going to read to sticking it to their study table, softboard, or anywhere where they can access it daily. They can also tick off the days after reading is over. So once they read that book, they can tick off or color in. Okay, allow them to be the leaders and involve them in preparation as well as reading to jotting down in the reading log. Okay, so we are also going to see a reading log which I have prepared. So basically, let them take a lead and let them decide which books they would like to read in this summer with you. Okay, now you can prepare a nice basket of those books or dedicate a shelf of only those books if possible. Okay, be creative and let the child take charge of this indoor activity. Okay, now let's go over the sample calendar that I have prepared here for toddlers, and then I will also show you Ridima's summer reading calendar. Okay, so this is a toddler's summer reading calendar. So if I had a toddler right now, I would prepare a reading calendar like these. Okay, now these all are picture books. Okay, meaning the books have pictures as well as text in it, and these picture books are short, like 10-15 pages max. So a toddler, a preschooler, and even a kindergartner can sit through these readings. Okay, it would hardly take like 10-15 minutes of the day. Now, the ideal way would be to sit with a child and read it with them. But if your child is old enough, they can do independent reading as well. Okay. Now, if you see the titles of the books that I have written here in the calendar for May, all you can see is there is different variety for the child to go. Okay, some are based on animals, some is based on space. Then here there are Disney characters involved. Then here is the classic famous book for toddlers. Then here I have informative books like oceans, your body. Then I have some related to trees. some related to food, some related to a problem. Okay, so as you can see, then here's one more for maths. Okay, as you can see, I have just laid out the titles so that we know which book we are reading together for the month of May. Okay, and does it mean that you have to only read that particular book for that day? No, you can go through many more, but this one book would be a together activity, like a parent child activity. All right, so you can take a screenshot if you want. If you have a toddler at home, you can take a screenshot and use the same calendar. If not, just prepare your own. This is a basic A4 size paper that I have taken and drawn the calendar, put in the dates and days, and then just put in the titles. Now the next calendar that I have here is Ridima's summer reading calendar. Okay, so she is 8 years old now, and if you can see, this is a little different than the toddler's one. Okay, so the toddler's one had one book every day because it's a picture book. Okay, and picture books hardly take like 10-15 minutes of the day to read. But for Ridima, we have started with chapter books. All right, and chapter books are somewhere between 150 to 180 to 200 pages and or more than that. Okay, so these chapter books and big books would be taking a couple of days to finish, right? So depending on how many pages there are, we have divided the calendar in those many days. So for example, if you can see here, Grandparents Bag of Stories, that is a chapter book by Sudha Murthy. Okay, so that would take a couple of days. So I have given 3 days for that. Then this All-Time Favorites for Children, it's by Ruskin Bond, again 3 days for that. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, that is a big book, but it does not have, I think, more than 100 or 120 pages, so only 2 days for that. Same with Struggle for India's Freedom, just 2 days. Now Diary of a Wimpy Kid, it's kind of a comic book, so it can finish, like it can be finished earlier, so only 2 days for that. Then to make to break the cycle of chapter books, I have also added a couple of picture books in here. Okay, so Where the Wild Things Are, a single day read, so only one book on that, 1 day for that book. Then Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, so we are starting with the series of Harry Potter right now, and we have the first book, so that would be a read with me. All of the rest of the books would be an independent reading, but for Harry Potter, she would be reading it with me. Okay, so that would be a together activity for both of us. So chapter 1 and 2, 3 days. So there are different chapters in that book, so I have divided the chapters for days. The next one is Serpent's Revenge, again 3 days. Chapter 3 and 4 for Harry Potter, 3 days. 2 picture books, and then the next chapters and another picture book. So this is how an 8 years old calendar, a reading calendar, would be different than a toddler's reading calendar. Okay, so you can choose the days, the books, the titles, and how much time you want to spend on each of that title, depending on your child's age, child's interest, and how much time you as a parent also have to spend together. Okay, so like if you have planned a vacation for a week in May, maybe you would want to skip that, right? So just skip those days and continue onwards. So this is a very flexible way of preparing a reading calendar, which keeps you accountable, which ensures that you have some one-on-one time with the child, and it also is a fun way to practice the literacy skills that the child has been learning for the past whole year. All right, and now let me show you the reading log. Okay, now what is a reading log? Reading log is just like a list or an archive of all the books that you read in a particular amount of time. Okay, now just imagine how fun it would be to have these archives saved from our childhood or every summer reading calendar, right? You'd know and have the written log and memory of what you read when you were 3 years old, when you were say 5, 8, 10 years old, basically for every year, right? So here is an example of a reading log that I have prepared. It's a fun one, again on an A4 sheet paper, and you can attach as many pages as you like depending on as many books that you're reading. All right, so I've just given the title here, books I read in 2022, and drawn these clouds. Okay, now in each cloud the child will write the title of the book that they have read from the calendar. Okay, now if the child is not into writing yet, you may want to write that for them, but if the child is an independent writer, ask them to do this activity. Okay, and depending on that, you can give them 2 or 3 color options and ask them to rate the book. Okay, so like if they write, for example, big book of animals here in the cloud here, and if they like that book, they can color it red, and if they didn't like that book, they can color it say blue. Okay, so give them the option of rating the book in a way. All right, so this is kind of a reading log. Now again, there's one more thing I would like to add in this, is the after reading activities that you can do with the child. Like if you have the time and if you feel the need and want to do them with the child, you can do those, but they're totally optional to do. All right, so it's not a must, but they are optional. Now what are after reading activities? They can be story comprehension questions, so you can ask one-liner questions, one-word questions for toddlers. You can practice phonics skills, whatever they are learning. You can ask them to find any sight word. You can ask them to find words from the book which begin with a particular letter sound. You can practice grammar skills for older kids, like find all the nouns, find the verbs from this page. Okay, check out the punctuation marks that are present on this page, whatever. Then you can ask general knowledge questions on the story or the book that they have read. You can also ask higher order thinking skills questions, so which are a level up than general knowledge. So general knowledge is basically giving the same information, the facts, but higher order thinking skills would be challenging questions for them, where they have to really think and come to a conclusion, to an answer. You can also ask them to retell the story, narrate the story, so that would be working on speaking skills. You can ask them to rewrite the story in their own words, which would be working on creative writing skills. Okay, so there's so much that you can do after reading a book, which in a fun way can become a practice or revision of the skills they are learning in school or in homeschooling or in their syllabus anyways. Okay, so now go to the comments below this video and let me know if you liked the idea of preparing a summer reading calendar for our toddlers and school aged children. If yes, then put a clover leaf from your emojis in the comments below. Okay, also feel free to share this video with other parents to make their summers easy breezy, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Lots of new videos coming up. So that's it for today, and see you in the next video.